Hi, my name is Dean Simmons, and my presentation today is on the irony of Gatsby's American Dream. Before I jump into things, I want to give a bit of background information of the styles and general events that were happening at the time of this novel. This novel took place in the 1920s, in which people were always in the pursuit of the American dream, in which women usually wore dainty clothes and fancy outfits, and in which men, even the lower middle class men, usually wore spiffy suits and hats wherever they went, which I think was pretty cool. However, through Gatsby's character, Scott Fitzgerald points out the irony in those that utterly submerge themselves into pursuing the American dream. At the start of the novel, Gatsby is initially perceived as being a multimillionaire that lives in a giant mansion and who throws flamboyant parties every day. The American dream is based around three principles of wealth, freedom, and happiness. The irony of this is, though that Gatsby always had freedom and wealth, he never really attained the third principle that would make him happy. And Gatsby sees Daisy as being that third principle. Yet he remains naive to the problems that come with continuing that pursuit, nor the realization that the relationship had little hope of ever working out to begin with. Sorry, Gatsby. Gatsby is strongly enveloped in this past, and he believes that he can change future events through his will alone. In his own way, he sought to procure each thing that he believes that he wants. He sought the attainment of a fortune early on, and got it by means of dishonorable bootlegging in an attempt to stand on equal grounds with Daisy so that she would fall for him. Gatsby fails to understand how much things have changed from the time that he was in the war, or of the own authorizations in Daisy's own life, the time that he was away. Nevertheless, he still held on to the belief that Daisy is still the same individual that he once knew. And this naivety in the character's dream spells disaster. Underneath Gatsby's more flamboyant persona, his inner personality reveals a nature that is more bashful and solitary than initially perceived. The most probable causes for ironically throwing excessive parties that he doesn't even attend. As a result, most of the guests never even met the guy. But the more crucial characteristics that led to Gatsby's demise is more due to his ignorance, his loyalty towards Daisy, and the later interferences of the character Tom Buchanan. Gatsby's money segregated him from the lower and middle class, so technically he was no longer in the poor social class, and yet he could never be categorized as being of high class due to his outlandish taste in style and his mannerism. Gatsby was so loyal to Daisy that he clearly remembered the date that they last met, 5 years next November. And Bigelow points out an element of irony here, because it is usually men who never remember and women who never forget such things as dates. And also in saying that the more vividly Gatsby remembers, the more the tricks of his voice yield to the feeling underneath, meant that Gatsby was deluding himself each time he thought of Daisy. And also there are subtle messages that point out to the futility of Gatsby's pursuits, such as the fact that before Gatsby can even meet Daisy, the daylight hours have already begun to shorten. As Callahan said, because Gatsby has centered so much of his life on achieving the American dream, that when he lost Daisy for the second and last time, he could be seen as being a broken down man who is simply waiting to die. The question if he would ever have recovered from that ordeal like he did in the war will never be answered because of his unfortunate demise. Had Tom simply driven his own car, Myrtle would not have run out to the street and gotten killed. And if the accident would have happened anyway, then Gatsby would not have been involved in Myrtle's death, and he could have won his girl over and perhaps lived his dream life after all. Both Gatsby and Myrtle wish to gain happiness or power through marriage with people that they thought they loved, and seeing how it was Tom that caused Myrtle's death, and it was Daisy that influenced Gatsby's own death, both people that they loved and that could have completed their American dreams, it is with this that the dramatic irony of Fitzgerald's novels takes its full and regrettable shape to his readers. If there's one lesson that we can all learn from The Great Gatsby, it is the understanding that money cannot be used to buy happiness. Jay Gatsby had nearly everything that the common person might want, apart from the girl of his dreams. However, although he did manage to get with Daisy towards the end of the novel, and his life's ambition did seem to be fulfilled, she was the one that crushed his vision. And Barrett said that what matters to Gatsby is what matters to us. Gatsby's story is our story, and the fate of the nation are intertwined, meaning that the goals of Americans are sometimes set so high that they can or have become the cause of our own undoing. Gatsby held the American dream in the palm of his hands until he decided to strive for an irrational goal. The cruel irony herein lies the fact that the one person that he thought would make his dreams complete would not being the one cause for his dreams' failure, as well as to all of his future dreams. That is my presentation, and I hope you all have a happy school year, and thank you.